You want me to put that on my tudger?
This one's wife. She's rewriting Bellend game. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Omid Scobie's Bellend game continues to cause problems for this one's wife. We all know that narcissists can't help but stick their noses in, shove their oar in where it's not wanted, sharpen their elbows and mosey their way into a situation where they're not welcome. This is as a consequence of a lack of boundary recognition, a sense of entitlement, but fundamentally, that need to control people. By finding things out, by involving themselves in other people's business, this assists the narcissist with regard to the assertion of control and drawing of fuel. It's commonly the case that narcissists will engage in micromanagement of people. This can be done in the home, in the workplace, in friendships. And you should watch my video, The Micromanaging Narcissist, to understand more about that. This one's wife is a meddler. Although she's intrinsically lazy, she needs to know about things. She needs to find out what's going on. And she needs to ensure that her print is about certain matters. We saw that, of course, with the improbably named plastic-faced Weasley Lickspittle Lieutenant Omid Scobie's Finding Dollars, Funding Freedom, where a simple reading soon revealed that it was essentially this one's wife's diary that had been handed over to him, and he was just reporting what she wanted. Her presence loomed large in that publication. An analysis of Spare revealed similar, that it was patently clear that she had had input into what was written about, dictating it to Harry, perhaps even telling the ghostwriter direct what to put, in order to ensure that she was portrayed in a glowing light, for instance, that she was described as heart attack beautiful, but also to smear other individuals who have been painted black by her, to ensure that she looked good and others looked bad. Again, it was patently clear where her involvement arose. Next came Omid Scobie's Bellend game, which again is clearly an organ orchestrated by this one's wife. Only her and Harry are the individuals who don't face any criticism, and various members of the royal family have been smeared, descriptions about William being power-hungry, and of course the royal racist row surrounding Charles and Catherine, which next to nobody is buying, again evidently orchestrated at the behest of this one's wife. 3 publications, 3 sets of paw prints from this one's wife. But it goes even further than that. According to Eloise Wells Morin, who appears to have displaced the enigmatically named web desk at Geo News, Prince Harry, this one's wife, reportedly make changes to Bellend game after race row. Omid Scobie's royal biography Bellend game allegedly underwent hundreds of changes in its new Dutch edition following the race row sparked by its initial translation. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and this one's wife, are behind these changes. The first edition, about an unpopular king, a power-hungry heir to the throne, a queen willing to go to great lengths to preserve her image, and a prince forced to start a new life after being betrayed by his own family, smearing and pity play, named King Charles and Princess Kate as the royals who raised concerns about Prince Archie's skin, contradicting Scobie's denials. According to journalist Rick Evers, who uncovered the names originally, they have now been removed in the newly published Dutch version, along with hundreds of other changes. As well as characterizing Queen Camilla as Camilla Queen Consort, Scobie is said to have edited citations attributed from I to ABC News. Descriptions of Charles having questionable deals and links with poor judgment now call him having questionable choices. Prince William was once referred to as lazy wills, and now has a work-shy image. Evers believes that these edits have come from this one's wife, owing to the fact that the quotes have been changed. The hundreds of alleged tweaks have reportedly been aimed to curb the backlash and distance Scobie's book from naming senior royals in its factually disputed claims, stirring up further royal rifts. Accordingly, the suggestion is that this one's wife has been orchestrating additional edits to a publication which hitherto she has essentially maintained through Scobie that she had nothing to do with. Naturally, nobody other than the thick as minced sugars accepts that explanation. It's patently clear that this is a device that's being utilised to extend her own agenda and make some money for Omid Scobie at the same time. Thus, the various backlashes that have occurred are threats to control, and it would seem, therefore, that this one's wife has been rewriting what has been contained within Bellend game in order to try and nullify the threats to control posed by all of the critical comments that have emerged. It may also be done as a potential attempt to avoid litigation, that it is perceived that legal action may follow as a consequence of the content of the book. Therefore, this one's wife has occasioned these revised edits. It might also be as a consequence of the fact that, showing her characteristic inability to read the room, that this one's wife believes that there is still an opportunity for her to crawl back into the bosom of the royal family. And therefore that is why these adjustments have also been made in order to nullify the threat posed to her need for control, with the suggestion that the royal family don't want anything to do with her. That she would even be so stupid as to suggest, I made Omid Scobie change these things. I did it for you, Charles. That might seem somewhat improbable, but it is actually not that far-fetched when it comes to a not particularly bright narcissist such as this one's wife, who, in order to benefit herself, effects these changes and then tells the monarch that she did this, and she did this for him in order to try and curry favour. All of a sudden, Charles now being painted white by her. The fact is that this reportage demonstrates that this one's wife does have an involvement in the publication, that she has occasioned all of these edits, and therefore the suggestion that there is no particular friendship or no close relationship between her and Omid Scobie, as suggested by him, is a completely ridiculous one. It also demonstrates that, in effect, that she's running scared, that these alterations are having to be made because the content of the book has not found favour with people. Demonstrating her customary arrogance, she would have ensured that the royal family was painted in a scathing light through Scobie, but the reaction to it has been, we don't accept this. And in actual fact, not only do we not accept this, we believe that the content here is absolutely scurrilous, and in some instances providing the grounds for legal action, all of which amounts to various threats to the necessity of control for this one's wife. Once again demonstrating that she's not as plotting and calculating as people believe her to be, that once again she falls prey to the various collateral consequences that occur as a consequence of her adherence to the subconscious pursuit of the prime aims. Once again demonstrates that what an abject loser she is, that whatever she gets involved in invariably blows up in her face. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.